Trap game. We got hit, y'all. We found the trap, y'all. I don't care how good this New York Knicks team can be. We always fall for the trap every single time. All the reports were a hobbled, falling apart shell of themselves Orlando Magic team because they're missing Aaron Gordon. They're missing all their point guards. Fultz, Cole Anthony, this and the third. But they still got Vucevic. They still got Terrence Ross. And we fell for the trap. But I'm not going to talk about that. I was frustrated. You guys saw the live. I was frustrated in the live. But it was for reasons outside of just us losing the game. It was a trap game. It happens to the best of them. 2 games under 500 again. Let's get Minnesota. But I have a few things about this game that I want to address that I have some questions about. Maybe a little frustration, but I have more questions about. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. Let's talk about it. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Crucial Boy, CK2K, and welcome back to another video, guys. It has been too long. I appreciate you guys if you made it to Wednesday Night Knicks yesterday. I appreciate all the support there. I know we're gonna get back into the swing of things, but we are back, able to upload. As you can see, I'm in the new space, so I appreciate the patience. I appreciate all you guys showing love and messaging me like, yo, CK, where you been? But if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. If you guys want to go back and check out the live stream, go check it out. It's there. I have time codes for you guys, so you can check out the reaction each quarter. A lot of good questions, a lot of good conversation. Go check it out if you want to. But let's talk about last night's game. The Orlando Magic, they got us. They punched us in the mouth, and we never recovered. We ended up losing that game 107-89, almost by 20 points to a team that we were supposed to steamroll in the eyes of many. Okay, we were winning games against all these other teams, playing really well against other teams, but in this game we just could not figure it out. And we had one good quarter, and other than that, even in that quarter, I was a little iffy on. That's the first quarter, and other than that, it just was a rough game all around. We're 14-16 on the season. The Magic are now 11-18. Luckily, we're still in the 6th spot, and we're still in the hunt for that P word that you guys talk about. But talking about last night's game, if there's a finger to point, I don't really know who to point the finger at, because the whole team didn't play well. Starters weren't playing well outside of Julius Randle. I feel like RJ Barrett was picking it up. He was doing a good job of getting to the rim and getting to the free throw line with his shot not falling. Elfrid Payton was a little bit more consistent in my mind in last night's game. But Elfrid Payton's problem is he just needs to make those cheap ones. That's my beef with Elfrid Payton. And last night he was doing a good job of that. He was making the shots he was supposed to make at a higher clip. But other than that, like, there was no offense anywhere. The bench unit, I mean, D Rose and Quick combined for 2 for 22 from the field. 2 for 22, and in the last few games they were combining for 30 points together. In the last few games, 30 plus points together in their time played, and last night they were 2 for 22, and it just wasn't a good look. Alec Burks was trying. He made one clutch 3 towards the end, but it just didn't amount to anything else. And yeah, our bench was not looking good. Rose on -15, Quickly on -19, Burks on -11, and Obi Toppin unfortunately with the -17 and only playing 12 minutes. It was just a rough game all around, and there's no one I can specifically point the finger to, because if those who want to blame Tom Thibodeau, what else was Tom Thibodeau supposed to do? I mean, there is one thing I want to complain about Tom Thibodeau, but I'll get to that in a second. But as far as, you know, pointing the blame at anybody, there's no blame to be pointed. We just played terrible last night in a game that we should have won. We got trapped and we fell for it. We fell for the trap and we lost. It's just that simple. Nothing else to put on that. There was no really bright spots outside of Julius Randle and maybe RJ Barrett. And speaking of RJ Barrett, I want to talk about the one complaint I had, and it was another game where confusingly RJ Barrett did not get to play in the clutch time. Now, I heard Mike Breen talk about it at the end of the game, talking about, you know, guys are going to have to sacrifice minutes to benefit the team, but in my opinion, RJ Barrett's minutes that were sacrificed did not benefit the team at all. RJ Barrett was finding himself in a groove, because like I said, and he was only 5 for 11 for the field, which is not terrible, but at the same time, you know, in the time where he was not finding a shot, he was doing a good job. I mean, the best of the team outside of Emmanuel Quickly at getting to the free throw line with his shot not falling. He was 4 for 5 from the free throw line, and you could tell in the beginning that's where his points were coming from. The shot wasn't falling. He goes to the line, and that's what RJ Barrett does. So in a time when there was about 7 minutes left in the game, we were only down by 11 points, we're chucking up bad threes, and we're giving them the chance to take the game away instead of going and getting cheap buckets or going and attacking the rim. I didn't understand why Julius Randle wasn't getting the ball in a lot of those instances. I understand you want to hope that Emmanuel Quickly will get hot. You want to hope that Alec Burks get hot. But at the same time, the shot just wasn't falling. You got to do simple basketball and get to the rim. Simple basketball, get to the rim. You could talk about the interior defense was not all that there. Vucevic did a good job on the other side, but we were able to get to the rim. We saw Julius Randle in 2 instances easily get to the rim. I don't understand why we weren't seeing that frequently enough, especially in that fourth quarter. So it comes back to the RJ Barrett benching. Last night's game I didn't understand. In games prior, fine. Even then, I would still put him out there to play. But in some of those games, you know, Emmanuel quickly was on fire. He was hitting his shot. Derrick Rose was on fire. He was doing well from the point guard position. And Alec Burks was helping to an extent in some of those games. I say that very loosely because he has not been good in the last few games. But you got to find those minutes for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett should have been out there, especially in last night's game, in a game that we should have been chipping away rather than forcing the issue from the three-point line. It just made absolutely no sense to me, and we beat ourselves. So if there was any time 2-point at Tom Thibodeau, that was the only time I had because I don't understand that substitution. You're hoping and praying that we can win by 3-point shots, but it just was not hitting for us tonight. We were 25.9% from the three-point line last night. That is 7 of 27 for us last night. The 3-ball was not going in. There was a point where we were shooting above 50% from the field, and then that dropped down to 37.9. So it just didn't make any sense to me. It was a weird game. It was just a weird energy. We went away from what went well for us. Our defense wasn't great. There was a lot of instances where we were just leaving people open at the three-point line. It was a rough one to watch. It was just really rough to watch because, like I said, we fell for the trap. I don't know how else to put it. I'm not gonna get too over the top upset about it. It was frustrating because that was the game that could have put us at 500. But we'll have 2 more opportunities to do that again in the future. Just last night, it just didn't happen for us. But unfortunately, we don't have our next game against the Spurs because their game got postponed, so we'll be playing our next game against Minnesota, skipping that game against the Spurs. Before I go on to one of my last points of this video, I do want to quickly talk about Elfrid Payton because I understand the conversation about Elfrid Payton and him not being one of the favorites amongst Knicks fans. Here's the thing with Elfrid Payton. I'm becoming a fan of the way he gets to the rim. He does a good job getting to the rim, but he's not great at finishing around the rim. Just like in the Hawks game last night, Elfrid Payton was around the same thing. He was 5 for 13 in the Hawks game. Last night he was 6 for 11 against the Orlando Magic. He only shot 1 3 in that Hawks game and 1 3 last night against Orlando, meaning that he was 6 for 10 from the field. So that means he missed 4 shots around the rim. To me that's the biggest head scratcher. I mean, I've also had a problem with him not moving the ball. I mean, he had 5 assists last night, which was really nice. But for someone who has the ability to get to the rim as well as he's been getting to the rim, hate him or love him, however you feel about him, he's been doing a good job getting to the rim, but sometimes he settles for taking some wild and wacky floaters and throwaways or whatever you want to call them around the rim that leads to his shooting percentage. If this man is able to make those shots around the rim way more consistently, we wouldn't have the issue, at least in my opinion. I feel like we wouldn't have the issue that we have with Elfrid Payton that we do right now. Elfrid Payton goes out there and unfortunately anytime he misses a shot or he does anything negatively, it's going to be magnified because people just want to see Emmanuel quickly playing over him. But if Elfrid Payton was able to capitalize on those shots around the rim, because he's not shooting a mid-range shot, you could argue that 10 of those shots were all around the rim, 6 for 10 around the rim, which is a lot better than his previous sample size, which was 5 for 12 around the rim. That can't be happening. So that's my one note when it comes to Elfrid Payton. I just really would like to see him make those shots around the rim a lot more frequently because that's the shot he's getting, and he's getting there with little to minimum contact. He got to make those shots. That's my beef with Elfrid Payton. I just had to mention that, and I want you guys to pay attention to that in the next game. A lot of the shots are just around the rim, and he's not making them. He needs to improve that in the long term. And last but not least, something that really irritated me in last night's game, there was a moment where we always have one of these moments with Vucevic every time we play the Magic. And it's a moment where Vucevic gets upset with a foul that's called against him because he believes he's not fouling and that he's not getting enough foul calls for him. That's just how he always is every time. At least every time we play them. I don't know how it is for Magic games. Let me know, Magic fans. But there was a moment in last night's game where he got frustrated with the call and he decided to aggressively foul RJ Barrett and push him off to the side. Now, it wasn't the biggest thing, but at the same time, when somebody is using one of your teammates as out of anger in a situation because they're upset about the situation happening with them, I still was upset that there wasn't anything said because it was an over aggressive move that, you know, resulted in the technical foul. But I didn't like the reaction to it. Mind you, I understand we had Emmanuel quickly on the court, Obi Toppin on the court, you know, nicer guys on our team on the court. But at the same time, I still was expecting someone to come up and say something. That, especially with this new atmosphere that we're building with the team, those kind of moments, I expect somebody, I'm not saying go over there and get a technical foul, but you got to get in his face. You got to let RJ Barrett know that that's not okay. You got to keep that chemistry of the team knowing that that's not okay. That could have been the moment to start the game going, or maybe it might not have been because it was probably a little bit later in the fourth quarter. But something like that, I'm never a fan of that. Like, we've seen this instance so many times in the past, especially with softer Knicks teams when we had issues like the Quincy AC issue and whatnot and stuff like that. If you guys don't remember that, just Google it, Quincy AC Knicks fight. It'll come up. It was against the Wizards. It'll come up. But we had like guys like Cole Aldrich who, you know, decided not to be a part of it, so like that. And I'm not saying to go out there and brawl and go out there and fight, but you got to go up there and step up for your guy, especially if it's RJ Barrett, one of the guys that's supposed to be one of the futures for this team. You go in there and say something. That was something that really irritated the hell out of me. Shout out to Reggie Bullock, who tried to say something. It was very polite, but he still tried to do something about it. But I don't know. I was expecting someone to get in their face, someone to go in there, say something, go up there, get RJ Barrett. But I don't know. It was weak. Might not be anything. Let me know what you guys thought when that moment happened. It was just something to me that maybe I'm a little old school with it. But I feel like last night we figured out that one piece that we need. We need that enforcer. We need somebody, because those kind of plays, when something like that happens and somebody responds, I'm not saying it should have been a fight. I'm just saying respond by letting them know that you're not going to do that to my teammate kind of thing. Those kind of moments energize the team for the future, energize the team for the game that they're playing right there. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity, as well as just a missed chemistry moment. We just had a very fun moment in the game prior when Theo Pinson, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley were, you know, showing love to Julius Randle before his post-game interview. So it was another moment there where you got to know that the teammates have your back. But again, there's a couple rookies on the court. Maybe just wasn't the time for it. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm just too old school. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about that when that point of the game happened and how you felt about it. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. But I'm going to stop talking. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below about it. Like I said, don't get too high, too low about the game. It was a trap game. It happened to us. Like I said, we put ourselves in the false thought that, you know, this should have been a cakewalk game because players were missing and they were hobbled and not playing well right now. But the fact was they still had guys like VSuite and Terrence Ross out there doing what they do normally in games like this. And we got beat. We got smacked. We got to get up, move on to the game against Minnesota. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below about everything that was mentioned in this video. The benching of RJ Barrett, the lack of defense, lack of play in the game, and the fact that, you know, no one really stepped up with RJ Barrett in the moment that happened between him and Vucevic. Let me know your thoughts about all the stuff I mentioned in the comments below. I'll be looking out for them. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and don't forget to like this video. I'm out of here. Catch you guys in the next one. Let's get it. All right, y'all. You looked at his face, okay? Let's get it. I'm a little tired because I'm still moving, but let's go. All right, can't wait to see your comments. I'm out of here. And peace.
Feeling like I won the lotto. Always taking trips with a new chick, asking where the time goes. And I wonder if this is all I'll know.